Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the channel. And today I'm super, uber, mega excited to share the storyline of Carol and Zosia on this very interesting series that I recently came across with. But before we get into further details and discuss everything, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you guys have watched it, let me know your personal opinion on it as well. So let's get right into it.
Why Raban as a woman?
Yeah.
Hi. Sorry it took so long. 3 kilometers per hour from.
Quite the range for someone who knows everything that
So basically, the series is called Pluribus. Yes, it centers on Carol, an author who is one of a small group of people immune to a mysterious virus. The virus has transformed the reset of the world's population into a single blissful hive mind known as the joining. The plot follows Carol as she tries to navigate this new world and uncover the truth behind the joining, while the hive minds attempts to interrogate her into their collective. So then we have the characters, which is Zosia. She embodies the accomplished peace and joy of the entire hive mind. Unlike Carol's misery, Zosia is constantly cheerful, serene, and optimistic, which creates a sharp contrast that highlights the core, ideology conflict of the show. And then we have Carol. Carol was a closet lesbian before the hive mind took over. Her romantic partner Helen passed away in the initial joining process. When Helen basically merged with the hive, all of her memories of Carol, included a secret relationship, became public knowing to the collective. So the love story begins with a calculated act of manipulation by the collective, consciousness. They try to choose Zosia as Carol's legend because Zosia's physicality, matches. Zosia becomes Carol's only romantic interest in her life after Helen's passing. Let me tell you, the show is very, very, very complex because at the beginning when I was watching it, I was like, what is going on? I don't get the plot. It's a little bit too confusing. What does Helen represent to Carol? What does Zosia represent to Carol? But the more you watch the show, the more you get into it episode by episode and actually pay attention to what, they have conversations about. There is when things, actually starts to make perfectly sense. At the beginning, to be honest, it was very confusing. I was like, I'm gonna watch it. I watched episode one, I'm gonna watch episode two, and I'm gonna just take it from there. But later on, you can see, how everything just starts to come together episode by episode. Please also, she was very, 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 very patient when it came to Carol because their first meeting wasn't the best. Let me tell you, when Carol actually ended up finding out what is going on, when it comes to the joining, in this case, the hive, who Zosia was, what influence does, Zosia has on the hive, what an important role she has on a hive. On the hive, she wasn't very happy with it because she felt like Zosia was hiding a lot of secrets from her and she wanted to know the truth in order to figure out the best way in order to get things back to where they need to be when it comes to, this whole virus situation. But also on the other hand, you can see that, Carol, she needed Zosia because she was basically like the only person left in the world, one of the only people left in the world. So Zosia was like a person that she could go to whenever she needed something, even though most of the time Carol tried her best not to reach out to Zosia because she didn't want Zosia to be near to her. But later on, it just came impossible for them to stay away from one another because somehow Carol did need Zosia. And Zosia knew exactly what she was doing. She was doing her job, but also at the same time, you can see that Tetsu slowly but surely started to create like a connection. But one thing I have to say also, to be honest, this is not like a romantic fairy tale. It's not like they fall in love and they just have this beautiful love story. No, it's more about the plot. It's more about, what, the story is about, and not about romance or they're finding love or they're exploring love or nothing like that. It's more about figuring out how, they can figure out a way to solve the issue that is going on in the series. So that was kind of a disappointing point for me, if you ask me. But as still, I do feel like the story is very worth watching. But I just want you guys to keep an open minded that this is not a romance. It's more like a conflict of interest. And the reason why I say that, because by the end of the series, or this case by the end of episode 5, you guys can see, why I say it's more of a conflict of interest. In this case, Zosia wants something from Carol, Carol wants something from Zosia, and somehow they get close to one another in order to get what they want out of it, but not on a romantic level, even though there was, conversations and new moments that we thought that might get to that point, so that was one of the things that I definitely didn't like about it. But at the end of the day, I also have to understand that each show represents something and another show will represent another thing. So let me basically get into a little bit more details regarding the end. So at the end, Carol basically injected Zosia with a strong medicine, hoping the medicine would surpass the collective control enough for Zosia to reveal the secret to reversing the process. Zosia became weak while Carol, interrogated her, and things 100 trillion% didn't go as planned because of that situation. Zosia actually ends up collapsing and having a cardiac arrest. So by episode 5, we don't know if in this case she had passed away. Did she go into hospital? Did she go into a coma? We don't know what happened to Zosia because of that specific moment, because the only thing that Carol wanted, she wanted the truth. She wanted to know what she can do in order to reverse, this thing that has been going on. She wanted, Zosia to come to her and tell her, like, this is what we need to do in order to make things right. But Zosia, she is so dedicated to what she have invested her life into, so it's impossible, for her to betray what she believes is right or what she have gotten herself into. So, things 100 trillion% didn't go as planned the way Carol thought it would. So there is just a lot, like I say, they have different points of view, but they also understand each other's point of view, but they also know at the same time that what they are doing, is different and they want different outcomes. So things definitely didn't go as planned, and you can see that Carol, once again, she goes into panic attack because once again she feels like she is losing somebody that definitely cared for her or that she has a romantic connection to. She felt guilty because she felt like she could have done things differently, but obviously she had other things to concentrate on as well, to try to figure out the truth, to try to figure out how to reverse this thing and basically bring the world back to normal. Because she also started to feel guilty because somehow every time, in this case, since Carol, she is immune, every time she gets stressed out, every time she loses control, a lot of people passes away. So she didn't want also to carry this, this weight on her. I know the series might sound confusing because at the beginning, like I said, it also was very confusing to me. That's why I told you guys, if you guys want to really watch it, I will highly recommend paying close attention to the conversations that they have, because that is the only way you will somehow get to make sense of what is really going on in the series, and basically keep an open mind that it's not a romance, but it is based somehow or included somehow on a romance. Hopefully I make sense by saying that. So if you guys would like to know more details regarding it, I will highly recommend going to Apple TV. It's available to watch on Apple TV. It has one season with 5 episodes. Each episode is around 1 hour now, 58 minutes long. So yes, stay tuned. And yeah, it's very good. I like the quality. The only thing that I definitely didn't like was, like I said, the fact that there was no romance between them, even though it is portrayed as like she is a lesbian and she is, queer in this case. So that was already good enough, but I feel like we missed the romantic aspect on things. I feel like they would have made the series even more interested to watch, but that is just my personal opinion. Like I said, if you guys have watched it, please let me know your personal opinion down below in the comments, because like I always say, it 100 trillion% does matter. So yes, that's basically it. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Until the next video, and goodbye.